What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So, yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB or find me on X at Justice, the number 4, Just Us. That's JUSTICE, the number 4, JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first. And happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, Marie.
Hey. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. I know you guys are normally used to seeing us on Monday, but life be lifing. And you'll see us on Thursday from now on until,
something changes.
Something changes, right? Tonight, well, it's a loaded night, right? This week has kind of been loaded. If you have ADHD, please keep your focus here, even though it is 2 live programs, coming from us right now. But this is the conversation you want to participate in right now. So if you hit the bell, you'll get notified when we're live. And to all of the people who have already hit the bell, thank you for getting us over 300 subs. I think that's pretty freaking cool. So without further ado, I got the wrong background up, but let me fix that right now. Puppets and pawns. Or pawns. Puppets or pawns. Are there strings attached? We were having a conversation, Marie and I, about articulate Black women in the media. And I find that there's always like some sort of something else about her, whether it is she's very liberal leaning, very conservative leaning, very something else leaning. I don't know, but I do know that if they've put the camera in her face, there's a very real chance that there's an agenda there, right? And then from there, who's the puppet master? And then, because what I don't want to happen is I don't want people to get hung up on what they see, the face, because just like the president doesn't really run shit, it's all these other people in the background, these Black women with the opportunity to speak up about whatever it is, they're kind of just employees, right? Or is that just my opinion? How do you think it goes, Marie?
When you say that, as far as employees, elaborate on that. What do you mean by that?
I mean, like they have marching orders. Do you remember a couple years ago when people did like a compilation of all the different news outlets and they were all saying the same thing, even though it was like Fox and then NBC and then whatever it was. And there were some nuances, like the city or the time that they said it. But essentially you could put them all together and they were all saying the same thing in tandem. And it was like the news isn't programmed. It's giving you information you need, and you can trust us.
New information you need, but that's
right.
Not the case. No, that's funny because I shared something today where even Putton talked about that.
Putton.
It was, but he was talking about how these candidates, they get in there and hopeful, and he's like, you wonder why you have these different candidates, but then it's usually all the same thing after a while. Like they get in there and it's always the same. But at the same time, it's always the same because there probably is somebody that comes there with a suitcase. It's like, hey, this is the agenda. I don't care what you think the agenda is. This is the agenda, and this is what we're doing.
It's I like
if you want to stay in office or stay alive, I guess.
Right. So then what happens is these people who have paid for their position in one way or another, with money, people that they know, what they've done for people that they know, it's at a cost. And then what is it that they're spewing? Is it benign? Are they allowed to just give their opinion about things without having to worry about the consequences of what it is that they're talking so loudly about? Or is it something else? And I just think that right now America is very programmable. And because it's a programmable society, anytime that somebody's got a camera in their face, there's got to be a reason they want you to pay attention to this specific person for a reason. And it's not just because, oh, they're giving you information you can use, but oh no, we can use those people listening to you if you get them to agree with this or like this or tune into this. And it's very shadow governmenty to me. And not just with the government, but just with people in the limelight or with the camera in their face.
No, I can agree with that, because then it's almost like there is an agenda. We're being force fed information. We're being like, it's kind of like there is a like you said, like a shadow government or a third party that's behind the scenes, almost like a Wizard of Oz, kind of orchestrating everything, giving this person airtime, this person gets to be more famous than this person for whatever reason to serve whatever agenda. No, I agree with that to some degree. I think that's also too where the purpose of the illusion of two parties comes in, where it's like you see two parties. Sorry, you guys. My Apple. You see the two parties, right? But here's the variable with the two party, one party system. There's even something that was brought up today. It's like when the DNC. I don't know if you noticed how they had the whole arena filled up, but then they have all these suites. And all these suites individually cost like upward to like 500,000. So while we're talking about a uneven distribution of wealth or coming down on corporations or making people pay their fair share, you're actually talking about these people in these suites. But both Dems and Republicans have the same. It's like they have the same message to some degree. Where it's like, again, they still have all these really wealthy people that, really are some of the people that we're talking about. And I like to call them the predator class.
Go a little bit more on that.
And I say the predator class because in essence, too, they take advantage of the most vulnerable. The predator class are the elitists that benefit off the backs of everyday working Americans.
Okay.
And that's the thing, too, where some people are like, there's a certain level of richness per se. You know what I mean? Where I think someone was like, I think Michelle Obama said something to the effect of, someone having to pay a little more. And then the irony is like, I've seen someone on my Facebook or social media profile, like, like he was kind of referencing her, but we're talking about the filthy rich. We're talking about the 5%. We're talking about we're not talking about, the person making 1 million a year or 500,000 or even 200, which is like the part where even like some of those Trump supporters, with your poor ass, like you do not worry, he's really not going to do much for you kind of thing. The irony is that some of Kamala's plans might be in the favor of someone that would be less likely to vote for her for whatever reason. Whereas there's some people where some of Trump's ideas actually would benefit them, but because of who he is as a person, it's like, I'm all right. Like I don't need, like I would like that. I would love that actually, but you're actually a terrible motherfucker. But you're like blatant about it. So there's a difference too, where I think the Democrats have done a good job of being terrible fucking people, but in such a very passive way.
Yeah.
Kind of quiet, almost kind of like, okay, we're all like doing that. We're hyping everybody up, but then we have these Palestinian protesters asking for a ceasefire, and like, now let's ignore the fuck out of them. Make sure they don't get any visual. We can't have. We have these fences up, like we cannot. And then so at the end of the day, it's like, do you give a fuck about a ceasefire?
Right. Very good point.
Like,
and I don't think they do, right? Or they couldn't possibly. But go ahead.
You cannot when you're still sending more guns and shit. You're like, did you want them to finish him off? Like, I could see if he was over there struggling, like they're just, they're taking us down. We're having such a hard time. It's like, Yeah, did you need more help killing little babies? Like, I mean, what, like, was the last bomb not enough? They're like, yeah, let's get them all to the refugee camp. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird shit where you're kind of like, or even where you now, it's like Ukraine has already made it into Moscow. So, are you fighting Russia trying to invade you, or at this point, are we assisting with just destabilizing Russia because it's our fake enemy?
Right, right.
Like,
Fake
because now you're inside of Russia. Like, what are we trying? Were we just trying to keep them off? Or do you have an agenda?
That's
And that,
that's funny. We're gonna have to talk about Putin and what I saw in the news about his border situation. But
the irony of that, and this and something actually a Hawaiian activist kind of brought to my attention is what we're so afraid of Russia doing, America does every day. Israel is doing right now. The same exact thing that we're like, we don't want the Soviet Union again. How dare you come into Europe and break up all these countries and making this? And it's exactly what America has done and is doing and it assists with, you know what I mean? Like, well, how is that different? But no, it's their evil. Like, I don't know, motherfucker. Y'all kind of seem like you the same evil. Huh? Are you just mad because they beat
exactly.
you place first or something? Or you do only calling
Hey,
out non-whites? Like, help me understand your logic behind this because the math's really not mathing.
that's facts. That's facts. It's real, and that's what we're dealing with right now. You try to have an honest dialogue with people who say that they want more information about the things that are going on, and then we say something about one of the parties, and then that automatically means that we support the other party. But that's not real. That's not that's not accurate. I don't know what to call it other than insanity because nobody's using the words coming out of our mouths, right? But they are saying, well, if you say something against Kamala, then you are a Trump supporter. Or if you say something against Trump, then you're a Kamala supporter. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. They want the most powerful job in the world, and we can't ask questions about policy.
That's so crazy to me. And it kind of reminds me of it's like to some degree that these politicians are like evangelized. Like I think we said it before, but I'm not gonna lie, I had very mixed emotions seeing some of the clips. So one, I chose not to watch because I'm like, I don't like if you're not gonna bring the real issues and things that I care about to the forefront. Why am I? I'm not giving you. So it's like I really just seen clips of everything,
Okay.
and for me, one, I used to be a Democrat. I always was more of a moderate thinker, though, so moderate, but I always voted Democrat just because that's what you do. Whether you like the ticket or not, or you agree with the
Right.
policies, or whether a lot of that shit's not going to benefit me.
Right.
But that being said, watching these like speeches or these things, and you're just like, oh, but these are fucking politicians. These we're acting like this is not real life Hunger Game. We're acting like that some of these
Mm-hmm.
positions are not like people's lives aren't in our fucking hands. Imagine sitting up here saying like, well, can we get a ceasefire? And someone's like, no, and that's like all you're like, hey, can you just not kill people? Can you not kill? Can you not kill them? Can you not? They like that's I don't know. Let us think about if these people get to die today or not. That's actually some real like empirical diabolical shit. It's so diabolical to even be a citizen in this country and to decide that you want to stand up against someone not dying. Like, hey, like you're standing for them not to die. You're like, well, hey, I just don't want you to kill the people. And they're like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, we're going to kill the people. Like, people's lives are in people's hands and they have like no idea. And at the end of the day, like they're indigenous people. They're the same indigenous people that, you denounce like what happened, what we did to the Native Americans, the Trail of Tears, this and that. And you basically just go around the world creating more Trail of Tears scenarios. And then, oh my God, we're so sorry we did this 20 years ago. And yeah, you ain't got no more land and there's only 6 of y'all left to talk about it and shit. And we're so
Right. Tasmania is a land of people who aren't there anymore. And I don't mean like because of America per se, but I do mean the global racism, white supremacy that I say that you can't really escape. you shouldn't flee. You should try to fight for what's yours where you are. But let's talk about the upper echelon, the people who are getting these box seats, right? I saw this. All right, this isn't one of those ones. I'm not going to scare you, but I don't know if you saw
What you
this.
doing? Like, look, we're not. You like, well, the
I'm not going
trans
to do that anymore.
library
You'll have a
decided
pre-warning.
they got a box, like.
But I saw this earlier this week, and I don't know if you heard about Dr. Umar Johnson. He went on Twitter letting everybody know that Kamala's camp hit him up, asking him to meet with them and to, he can send questions in advance and he'll get $10,000 or whatever. So then basically, I guess, Steve Harvey and other people who have gotten propositioned by where'd it go? By the Democrats. I guess Steve just wanted everybody to know that let me just let him say it.
President Kamala Harris, and went on to say that he believes other celebrities are being paid to support Vice President Kamala for her bid for the White House, right? Umar specifically called you out, Steve. He called out Ricky Smiley. He claimed that both of you were paid to support Kamala Harris's campaign. Here's what he said.
But if we're going to be honest, Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley, and I love you both, no hate to my big brothers. But if we're going to be honest, Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey, y'all only carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Can we please be honest? Can we see? I want y'all to understand, overstand, and understand what King Kong is talking about. Y'all carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Kamala Harris.
Brother Umar, let me say this, man. I absolutely love some of the things you say. I really, really do, man. Some of the stuff I don't always agree with, but ain't nobody got to agree with everything I say. But let me clear the air on something.
Please.
You can't hire Steve Harvey for $10,000 to do nothing.
Thanks.
Let me just A that out the way. I don't know where you got that number from, but you can't offer Steve Harvey $10,000 to do nothing.
I'm sorry, y'all. It tickles me because he's dead ass. He goes on to talk about his brand and how he's made a name for himself. And you can't belittle the brand. I'm with you, Steve. If your brand is worth more than 10 and you get paid more than 10 to come out and speak or to let people, that's great. But
Me, is he saying he wasn't paid at all, or it was just more than 10,000?
Right. And that is, if you were to go to the comment section of this video or of any time anywhere it's posted, that's what the question is. Like, you didn't actually say you didn't get paid. What you said was that you don't do anything for $10,000. But check, it's a little bit more, just a little bit more. And I know we said black women, but just starting with this because he is in that group of the top percenters. He might have a lot of bills, right? But what he's bringing in is going to be more than what the average Americans bring in. So, one of those box seat people, I think that could be his population demographically speaking.
Now, you can go through the industry and ask about me. Let me tell you something. Omar, let me tell you something, man. And there ain't no hate here at all, because I like some of the work he does. I really do. Yeah. Listen, man, I don't.
He said
I don't do nothing for $10,000. Don't even insult. Don't insult the brand equity that I've built over these 30 years of television. I just don't, man. And I'm doing this absolutely free of charge because I want this country to be in her hands as opposed to Donald Trump's hands. That's why I do it.
Okay, so now he said he didn't get paid. So that's just me fucking up the words. But is it about the money or is it about the connections being made, right? Because to me, if the president or future president or the vice president is like, hey, Eve, let me come on your show. We can't do it with the money, right? I can't pay you because then people are going to see a paper trail, but let me come on your show and I got you later, right? And then I think that that's an easy out for anybody who wants to use the argument that they didn't get paid, because we're not going to know if there's some roles coming up for him, or, you know, like a I don't know, a Nobel Peace Prize or some shit. Who knows? You know, he's bridging the gap between the blacks and the whites on the game shows that he's hosted, right? Like, who knows what opportunities no, let me stop. Opportunities have happened or will happen when he brought her on. But I wanted to start there because Umar is not, you know, he's not upper 5%, 10%. You know, he's still asking for money for school, right? So, but he got paid $10,000, or was going to get paid $10,000 if Kamala went on his platform. He, I guess, didn't take it, or the interview hasn't happened yet, right? So he hasn't gotten any money. But all these other people, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, I don't know, people oh my God, I gotta share something else, Marie. But so far, with what I've said so far, or what he said so far, is this kind of like what you were getting at, like these box seat people who get access to, you know, they're not the people on the floor, but they're the people probably paying for the event, right? At this point, because you said you were getting mailers right there. The different parties are asking you for some money.
Oh, absolutely. The Republicans are the big. I don't know. I feel like I get more emails from the Republicans than I do the Democrats asking for money. But then I will say that I have the Democrats always trying to pull me, and I'm just like, no, no, no. Still not vote. Would you support? No. Would you? No. You know, for me, my big thing is continuing to give Israel money. So anyone that is like supportive of it is just an automatic no, no. But they'll give me like different like candidates, like even for local level politicians, like, well, this person, blah, 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 this person. But what I will say, it does seem like the common denominator is that everyone is supporting Israel, which goes back to kind of the shadow government and dark money.
So then, well, I mean, even though we don't always agree on things, I do like your consistency. And really, I think if people were more consistent in their beliefs, or at least how they operate, then we wouldn't have so much confusion with regards to how people are moving politically. I think most Black people were brought up Democrat. So then anytime you stray away from that, you know, you got to answer to your mama and them.
Oh, it's a big thing. Like, how dare you and whatever. Like, but even too, it's almost like the funny part when you see that nastiness in a lot of Trump supporters or Republicans. That's exactly how Democrats respond as well when they find out that you're not like a Democrat or you're not with them. Or even too, I think one time this lady was telling me all this stuff, you know, because she was concerned for me as a minority, and you know, I guess she was trying to tell me why I should be I guess, a Democrat. And I want to say this was like 10 years ago, but I was like making like 80,000 a year. And 10 years ago, 80 grand was actually decent money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, bitch, you think, oh, because I'm Black, you think I'm poor? That's very telling. She's like, and all the stuff they do for you guys. Bitch, I'm not on Section 8 or food stamps. And not that there's nothing wrong with that, because I want some food stamps now. I want to be able to qualify, you know, even with the money. Anywho.
No, I'm sorry. If my biggest issue with the food stamps and government assistance is that people who haven't had to establish themselves here are getting access to our resources here. Now, fine, if America done started fire in their home and they fled here, fine. But you still got to wait in line. My damn sister-in-law, I love her to death, right? Because she's married to my brother. I love them. I love my nephews. But she had to wait in line. She had to wait her fucking turn. Wait whatever the amount of years were. She'd take whatever the fucking tests were, and then now she can be here and not have to go back home. But it's that's not happening right now. It's just like if you can make it here, then I got you. And then I'm thinking it's like Statue of Liberty, right? Send me your
You're tired, you're hungry.
Right. We like back at the beginning of all of this shit. And I'm like, I thought Kamala said we was gonna be unburdened. It just seemed like she trying to add more burdens. And then nigga like Steve Harvey. There's one point that he says that I think that you are gonna be tickled by. Let's see if he says it here.
Now, me and Ricky Smiley happen to be on the same page. Now, we Q's now, and so is D.L. Hughley. And Q's kind of run the airways of Black radio.
Okay. All right.
The Q's is running the airways of Black radio.
All right, Purple.
But we also understand what's at stake here. So no, I haven't received a single dollar from anybody to do what I do. And I'm doing it gladly for free.
Yeah.
And I'm going to freely have her on here again and again and again. I am going to freely ask soft-ass questions. I am going to freely lob the basketball so she can slam dunk all.
Damn it, there it is right there. I don't know what's going on in the background over here. Somebody got an accident, somebody's house on fire. I don't know. I hope they're okay. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, he said the presidential candidate, he's going to lob the ball to her so she can make the easy layup. He's going to ask her the soft, easy questions. And I'm just like, hold the fuck up. This is the person who wants to be in control of the red button, right? They got a red button, right? Or is that just some movie shit? Whatever.
I think they do got. She has the codes, but here's the thing. You should be able to, like you said, you should be able to ask the hot ticket questions.
And then we've got these people who, you know, if we're just being honest, most Black America is not thinking about, oh, well, they're just an entertainer. I'm not listening to them, as much as they are listening to the entertainers, the singers, the athletes. And
I hope you're wrong. Like, and I say that because I genuinely wonder that because I was not raised like that. And I don't know if it's because, you know, again, I'm a Black woman, but I do got a white mama. I don't know if that I was taught, like, you know, something was different. Because I've never, you know what I'm saying? I've never, you know, nothing like, I don't know about even my kids compartmentalize, you know, the reality, like none of their like people in life are like actors or singers, or we're not looking, I've never looked for, you know, endorsements, or I wouldn't say endorsements, but I'm not looking to them to endorse something. Like maybe it's someone from academia, you know?
So then, I mean, I feel you, and that makes the most sense, right? But then in real time, people, all right, actually, let me use a situation I had today. I was in a conversation with some Gen Xers, and they were saying that they have done the research, they know what's out there, and Trump doesn't have any policies that they can, you know, align with. And I'm like, that's fine, you know, because I'm not saying go support Trump, but I am saying every time y'all talk about Kamala, that shit ain't making sense, because they'll say, well, I want to put America first, but I'm going to vote for Kamala. And I'm like, but Kamala's not putting America first in anything that she's doing. So how does that make sense? But then they call me a Trump supporter. And I'm like, wait a minute, that seems a little unfair. So then I'm asking them about the research that they've done, or, you know, what is it that they actually support other than her being a brown-skinned woman who isn't fucking ugly, right? Because I mean, if she were ugly, that would be a whole other conversation. And I feel like we've talked about this before. People give attention to pretty things. And it doesn't necessarily matter what they saying out their mouths. Go ahead.
I was like, it has its benefits.
Yeah. But it also is a catch-22 because then people will think that you've only gotten access because of how you look. So, then they'll say that against anything that I bring up about Kamala. And it's like, damn, y'all making me out to be like the world's biggest hater. I'm not hating on this woman. I don't give a shit that she's got a silky press. She got wrinkles on her neck. I'm good. I don't want what she has as much as I just want people to make an informed decision. And then they say that they're informed, but they don't know the things she's done as much as they just feel how they feel, right?
So I'm at NPR's website. And I will say this. So there's like some stuff like I still don't see on her website the items per se, but
I mean, like policies and shit. Right.
However, what she has said, some of those things are in the benefit of the majority of Americans because they're struggling right now. Everyone's struggling. We're all struggling. Let's keep it real. The money ain't money and like it used to. So tax breaks for home builders to build new housing. But then the catch is too, we have a lot of inventory that's not. We have a lot of inventory that just isn't being utilized too. So let's talk about that. Also, there needs to be something in place to prevent corporations from buying so much real estate. That's really the fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's call that shit out, which then too, people would call that regulating an industry, right? So, but that might be a necessary evil. The $25,000 in down payment aid for first-time buyers. What's crazy is that you think of when Obama was in office, he gave them an $8,000 tax credit. But that just shows you how expensive life has gotten. And it is due to, homeowners not really being homeowners because it's corporations buying up all these properties.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So $6,000 for low and middle income families with new babies. I could see the value in that. $3,600 per child per year for the expanded tax credit. I think that it's been fluctuating over the years and they've been having expiration dates, depends on the age of the child. There's a whole multitude of things like that. A ban on gouging in food sector. So like meat pricing, things like that. I do think that is an industry that should be regulated. I do think that medical debt should not impact your credit score. And that is a thing as well. So that's on her thing. Then she mentions ban hidden bank fees. I don't necessarily know if the fees are really hidden, but it sounds good. A lot of times you do know up front. It's just the fact is that you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and just is what the fuck it is at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Hike the minimum wage. We've been talking about bringing up the minimum wage forever, but if you can't bring up the federal, if it's only impactful on a state level or a federal level, isn't that the thing where they have increased the minimum wage in some areas but not others? And I think there's something different with federal versus state.
Right. It hasn't been a rising tide lifting all boats as much as each state has been allowed to increase their minimum wage as they see fit type of thing. So
ban taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. I'm assuming that would benefit some people in the lower. And then honestly, some of them make really good fucking money. And so if you would take off the taxes, they would really make good money. But again, it also depends on what type of industry you're in. Is it an upper echelon like food service or bar or whatever, right? So there's that. I do think there's value in that for some people. Mind you, only thing right now, there's like only one thing out of all of that so far that actually may benefit me. I don't have any medical credit or anything like that. I do think that it is absolutely necessary to regulate the cost of pharmaceuticals, but we've seen big pharma hold the United States hostage for decades now. And it's been both parties. So the idea that I don't necessarily know about negotiating lower prices or just fucking putting regulations, like real regulations. Because the problem is too, like recently they did pass a law about insider trading for, people in Congress. But the catch is the penalty isn't strong enough to deter it.
And that's how it is.
So like they gotta be somewhere to tear your ass off or something. It can't just be no little. It gotta fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? Where you like, or you could be forced to resign or something. It has to be something, because in essence it is insider trading. The Roe versus Wade, part of me is like, y'all couldn't do an executive order or something for that. Like, what's up with, like, I don't know about that. But then here's where it gets weird. So we're still back on the immigration thing, and something I want you to think about. And because, again, we do not feel the same about immigration. I feel like there's a long and short game being played, and you have to keep in mind too that even as a sanctuary state, you're given money. That's why they elected to be a sanctuary state. They're saying on average, like in 2021, sanctuary states were given 300 million.
Yes.
So too, they also have some of these funds to leverage because it was given to them just for that. And this was a way for them to kind of, I guess, address the problem in maybe a proactive, positive way in their mindset. But then I also feel like, again, there's people like there's some games being played, because even too, it kind of, like right now people are mad at the immigrants, but like motherfuckers really need to be mad at the politicians that either agreed to this shit, or even like my governor sending the immigrants to y'all. Like, so but let me get this right. So they was at your house. You send them to mine on a bus?
Right.
Mr. Motherfucking Abbott. Like, what the fuck is you on, G? Like, nah, you figure that shit out. So there has to be some variables where it's like, there's some games being played. There's some, and the thing too, though, is like, it falls under this thing where it's like, they always got to have somebody to be the nigga.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's the Irish, the Italian, Mexicans, this is like, they always got to have some fucking body to make you feel like they're taking your cookies. There has to be somebody, because the moment you really look up and realize it's their motherfucking asses, like it's these fucking politicians, it's this government, it's this shadow government, they're the ones really using you as a pawn and a puppet, that might be done for their ass. Like, it might be it. Like, the moment the people really open up their fucking eyes and see we're all just being pit against each other, like they might really be done. We might see like a French Revolution or something. You know what I mean? And some of that is also too what Fred Hampton talked about before they murdered him. It's the people recognizing who's really, like, who's actually creating the problem, who's starting the fight. And so I say that to say, so going back to, because I feel like there's always an easy way to earn your citizenship when you're white. It's never an easy way to earn your citizenship when you're Black or brown. I feel like there's so to me there's an implicit bias there. In addition to that, it's like I said too, like some of that shit is really like, I do feel like there has to be some karma for doing bad things. There has to be a karma for going to other countries, doing bad things, and America must pay just a little bit. I mean, I hate to say it, and it really is kind of crazy, because it's like, but yeah, that's you. It is me, right? It is. I'm an American, whether I want to be an American or not, whether I'm a fucking hostage here. I'm here, but I do think that there has to be some level of accountability or responsibility, no different than even currently the circumstances in Hawaii, which in essence, Hawaii is just another fucking colony stolen by America. And then the fact that those people can't even afford to live in their own country, on their own islands. You know what I mean?
No, that's real. But then, so while I will agree that America starting all these fires all over the place, that's not good, because then we get guilty by association, right? I don't like that at all. But I think that most people around the world understand that Black America is not in charge of anything, as much as they want us to say that we have control over these things. And then when that happens, the buck gets passed from the white people actually harming to the niggas who don't have any control over anything. And then, well, we've always been people to right our wrongs, fix our fights, pay our debts, and keep moving. But you've got well, this is what I have on the screen. This is what we've got going on. The people who were paid by Kamala, and not specifically by her, but her team, they sent out this pamphlet, things you niggas need to know before you vote. And then it's this whole slew of fact check.
I want to say Jamil Harris sent that out first, and then Charlemagne just copied it from her page. I did find it hilarious.
Well, what hilarious, like ha funny?
I actually reshared it and said, I don't agree with this shit, but things you niggas need to know was hilarious to me.
No, yeah, things you niggas need to know is exactly what they do. They take our lingo, things that we've popularized. I mean, just the fact that I've seen probably 10 different videos of white people, Asians, and other non-melanated people calling each other nigga when they're fighting. Like, nigga is a household word right now.
That's true. I do believe the original author, though, was a Black woman. And I think she was speaking to her audience, and then Charlemagne piggybacked off that. I mean, because here's the thing, too. So there are a lot of Black people wanting to vote for Trump. And honestly, and some of the reasoning now is not necessarily valid.
No, because they're doing the same thing that the Democrats do. The fear mongering.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be on anybody's side if you're telling me not to vote for somebody because you don't like them or I shouldn't like them. Or even anything about light. Like, what the fuck is a policy?
Or even the information is bad. Like, even so, like, I think we talked I think the other day we were on the phone, we were talking about just in general, like even where the economy is. The whole world was impacted by COVID. The whole world's economy kind of took a little dip or a dive. There's a lot of things that happened to it. Every country had to do something to uplift or to bail out most countries, their citizens. However, leave it to America, we bailed out mostly corporations at the biggest level, as opposed to outside of them niggas that got the PPP loan. Shout out to y'all, I didn't get one. But I don't know the way they kind of going back, and I don't know if I really wanted one. But that being said, the idea that this economy we currently have is it's just strictly, this is Biden and Harris's fault. I would like to say that because it feels like that because they're the ones in office. But in essence, they're inheriting the policies, from the previous president, the aftermath of giving all these corporations fucking handouts to the millions and billions. In general, too, I will say that both parties have a reputation of being bought and sold by corporations. And in essence, a lot of this inflation is fake. These companies are reporting record profit. So again, until we start regulating, and believe me, Republicans actually hate the fucking term regulate, even though technically I thought that shit was like applying to human beings. But they think entities and businesses are humans, and they don't like to see regulations because that impacts their money. So even to sit back and be like, well, I'm gonna vote for Trump because, when he was in office, like he was, and then like the money he gave you was your money.
Gave you your money right back.
Even a lot of money. Like, bitch, if you're going for $2,000, you're a cheap whore. You're cheap. Like, you need to get some standards about.
We gotta get the Steve Harvey about yourself. Can't have no brand equity.
Like, you might need to go talk to Steve because I would never I ain't going for no. Like, because really, he did not give y'all a lot of money like that. Like, I don't know, and going back to the money had to come from somewhere, right? So we actually found ourselves in a deeper deficit behind that.
That's an excellent point that people keep forgetting to sprinkle in there, is that whoever is in charge now is getting the benefit or deficit of who came before them. So then my only concern would be that all of this additional spending elsewhere, like how you don't want them to send any more money to Israel. Yeah, stop that shit. That has nothing to do with the people who came before you, as much as if you support it, you're going to send money. And if you don't support it, you're going to keep that money and put it somewhere else. But
and so here, but I will love to make a valid point and to point out too that arrangement that we currently have with Israel, that we're constantly giving them money like that. Obama black ass went and did that.
That part.
So I think that's
Obama. Oh, bummer.
Yeah, I think that's important to remember too. So it's like, I just rather there be solid information. It doesn't matter like if it's towards Kamala, if it's in favor of Trump, because even Trump actually talked about doing the not taxing the wages of like hospitality workers. In fact, when he talked about it, it was then like there was something else put up, you know, to coincide, like, and it's going to cost taxpayers $83 billion if he chooses to do that. But when Kamala wanted to do it, it's like, oh, such this new idea thing, like, you know, because it goes to show who the media is in favor of who's saying which route you should go. Kind of going back to what we talked about initially.
That well, let's get back there, because if the name of the game is information sharing, and then people are saying, well, I am listening to people who are giving me information and this is how I'm making my decisions. Well, like, who are you listening to and why? I think about Trump, and yeah, we're doing the Trump and Kamala thing tonight because y'all keep saying that we go hard on her. We don't talk about him. We talk about everybody tonight. On Trump's side of things, last time he came out, he had Diamond and Silk as his like Black people puppets. I don't know if you guys remember them. One of them passed not too long ago, and they are sisters. I think that I have a picture to share just in case y'all don't remember who it is. Okay, here we go. Diamond and Silk. And this is who Trump had on his arm last time around. And if you know anything about Diamond and Silk, they come from a religious background. Their parents are televangelists. You know, they're very conservative. I mean, you can look at what they have on. You know, they not dress like Amber Rose or Sexy Red or
face tattoo
like that. But go ahead.
I'm like, they ain't got no face tattoos.
Right. It's very. I say this is a wholesome look. You know, I mean, he's big ass.
It's a little exaggeration there to me, just a little bit, which goes back to. But I also felt like that about the other woman. Like, where you be picking them up?
Yeah. All right. Let's go to. All right. So Trump has. All right. This was Trump 1.0's Black representation, and then moving to today's representation, I believe her name is Michaela Montgomery, and Miss Montgomery is a little bit thinner. She's from Georgia, and oh boy, look, y'all, when you're in the limelight, y'all gonna have to give a damn about how these people take pictures of you, because you can't be mad at me when I share some shit with you on it and you didn't give a damn about the picture being taken when it was. No, y'all not about to sit in here and call me mean when this is the damn picture you allowed to be taken of you. And I know you can't really. I know.
That's why I be like, damn.
This is Michaela. That's a really fucked up angle. Let me see if I can get another picture of her. Okay, here we go. This is.
They don't want to talk policy.
Eve, stop being retarded. Unmute tab.
They just want to use propaganda to steal your vote. The left is trying to tout this woman as a savior for the Black community, but all she's done is hurt the Black community since she came into the game.
So, like, just from what she's saying right here, y'all, I just look at her. I mean, she's got the conservative look. She don't got no titties out. I don't see any tattoos. I don't see any crazy piercings. Her hair is done. Don't know if it's a nice weave or not, but let's just say it's what she could afford. And it's just giving Diamond and Silk 2.0 to me. And if Diamond and Silk is how the Republicans is viewing articulate niggas, whether it's a female or a male, you know, I just wonder to what end? Like, what is the point except for they just need people who aren't.
And that's where it gives puppet. You know what I mean? That's where it's like, okay, which nigga I'm gonna send out here to do the Bojangle, the form, like, you know, and that's the funny part. It's like where I say that you know, Republican gives Black puppet, whereas to me Democrat gives Black pawn, right? Because then it's like they're always holding some type of something they can give you hostage, and it's like we're gonna do this for, like, the Black community or whatever it is, and the shit doesn't get done. But then I want people to know that even when we think we're seeing things get done, it ain't going how we think it is. Like, you know, kind of like we talked about recently, the Asian hate crime bill. Passing the Asian hate crime bill just made Asian hate crimes go up 300%. It did not help the Asians whatsoever. It really just meant they was gonna get their ass beat more by white people because they're upset that they got something. You gave them something. You gave these foreigners something else, and that's how they feel about Black people too. So, and that's also why so many even poor whites lean into the Trump thing, is because the Democrats love to kind of play to the minorities, whether they're Hispanic, Black, whatever. They mention them. They name drop. So it's almost like making them feel seen. Whereas a lot of poor and rural whites do not feel like they get that type of leverage or get seen, where that's kind of what Trump has done. He's gone out to some of these rural white communities and lied to them, just like the Democrats go out to our communities and lie to us.
Oh, for sure.
But they feel seen for the first time. Like, there's like, no one fucking talks to us. We're over here poor. We're the majority. We're the majority Section 8 food stamps recipients, welfare recipients. Somebody finally fucking seen us and said something about our white poverty.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, I'm sorry. And then
other Black, like, Republicans, where I'm like, they had some other ones that they didn't have that.
Well, I mean, Candace Owens doesn't have that look. She got a different look, you know? And she's another well-spoken Black woman, you know, who gets a lot of shit because of how she leans and, you know, in the direction she leans. But I just think that, well, I think that once the camera's in their faces, they know that they have to be polarizing, and it has to dig at the other side without having to go into anything that they're going to be held accountable for. You know, like when the president or incoming people say, I'm going to do this for you and I'm going to do this for you. Nobody's really saying that as much as they're just saying, that guy is going to bring back slavery and that woman is going to, I don't know what she's going to do outside of socialism, maybe, or communism. I don't know, you guys. But Michaela Montgomery, her being so prominent right now, and then juxtaposing her with like an Amber Rose, you know, it's so strange over on the Republican camp. But you said that's giving puppet, not pawn, right?
It's giving puppet, not pawn. Like, you, like, even too, why would you bring this whole out here? Like this, and the thing is, this is what, like, this is the Black representation. To be honest with you, then you took the whitest Black person there was. I really, that really kind of, again, it's like what, like their depiction of what Blacks are. It's like, either I got the Bojangle, or here's this, you know, fetished, almost white but not white but Black. And they said she was a rapper. She's not even a fucking rapper. Like, she's like, honestly, Kim Kardashian is probably, you know, doing better than she is as far as being someone that's famous for nothing. Like, she's able to really to benefit off of being famous for nothing and turn it into something. Whereas like Amber just has a few baby daddies that are rappers, and like, you know, like, I don't know, like it wasn't like, I know she wasn't speaking for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, not sure what that was, but it's like, and then for her to be like, and I want to tell you guys that they're not racist. Like, come on now, let's cut the bullshit.
Well, let's not just lie. Like, y'all can't be out here lying, you know.
Trump absolutely built his empire on discriminatory practices towards Black and brown people, and it's well fucking documented. So like, cut the shit. Like, if you, you know,
they say that Trump's not racist because he's taken some pictures with some famous niggas, you know, and then he got Angela Stanton King out of jail. You know, he did some things, and I think that he should get credit for the things. But what people need to realize is that there are no such things as friends. Y'all got family, and then you got people who can align with you sometimes, and then from there, is it going to start a war? if you disagree about these things or not. And I find that this current political climate, you can't disagree with shit without people telling you that we about to go to war. And I'm like, hold up, wait a
There's no
minute.
room for discourse. There's no room for conversation, communication. There's no room. And here's the thing, like, it's actually very disheartening. It's disheartening to see people that look like me and we not hold the same values. And I say that to say that even watching, like, you know, it's like there's a part of me that misses that nostalgia of, you know, Barack's campaign. But then the problem is that there's this awareness. And now I'm fully aware that you're a fucking war criminal, you know, or even like you have Jasmine up here. I love how Jasmine fights for her district. And here's the thing. Here's one thing, people, two things can be true at the same time. It is a two-party system, but there are a few people that actually give a fuck within these parties here and there. They're scattered. They're far and few. They just haven't been sucked in or bought and sold just yet. And they may never. But then at the same time, too, they may never also get the policies they want put in place because the way the system is designed is a quid pro quo. So, but like Jasmine, I love Jasmine, you know what I mean? And it doesn't, and then when she got there and gave her speech, it does, you know, my dislike for Kamala does not mean that she wasn't able to give Jasmine a pick-me-up speech. And that's the thing about it. These people can be likable and still have bad policies.
Thank you. Say that again. Say it again.
Policies. They can be cool and still have bad policies. They can have, and a lot of the stuff for me is more so towards foreign policy. Mine is it's more geopolitics, but then at the same time, to live in a country to see so many fucking people struggling and we're just giving like boatloads of money to these other countries just doesn't sit right with me. Because it's like, how are you part of the solution here? How are you leveling the playing field? And then let's even take it to, you know, it's like a lot of things. So it's like whenever the Democrats do something, it is, oh, it's socialism or communism or whatever. Now, if the Republican does something, it's like, oh, like I said, when Trump was giving out all that shit, believe me, he gave y'all $2,000, but he gave this business $4 million, $2 billion, right? So so it's kind of like he is smoke and mirrors. But then why wasn't that welfare then too? Why do we have such a double standard? And then to be honest with you, or even say socialism or communism, what some of these countries have great medical care.
Oh no, go back to the pandemic experiments. All these other countries that got stimuluses, their countries gave a damn about the welfare and livelihood of their citizens. And the little $2,000 that you might have got from Trump one time, these other countries were like, no, y'all niggas need to live, right?
It's
like we
standard cost of living for the time being. Everyone should get it. Everyone gets to live, y'all. Like that's so crazy. Like it's so crazy that while we have these conversations, we are really talking about life and death, and it doesn't seem like that way. Like we're talking about this, but even too, people don't know whenever the unemployment rate fluctuates, that's another 10,000 people that die. All of these things, it's like we're talking about these things, they're matter of fact, and then we all like, you know, I'm not really into politics, or I don't discuss politics, or I don't care about your political views, or, you know, and it seems like that's just the thing to say or do, but it really has people's like livelihoods are in your hand. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
that's
it's
why I can't with the people. You can't have a bad faith argument, you guys, especially now. The stakes are too high, you know, because if you, like my big sister is a person who lives off and out of the way, right? Like she don't participate in this shit. She kind of sees it from afar and lives off of her things that they grow. And you know, I think that that's pretty cool because more people are going their own way because the two-wing same bird shit is passe. Like you can't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. But here we are. People keep doing the same thing. And then you have just genuine people who want to know, they want to do better. They want to know better, but they're afraid of the other side. You know, the fear mongering is real and propaganda is real. And because of what you just said about life and death, you know, I find that these conversations don't get the attention that they deserve because most people can't have a conversation like me and you and disagree about these things without fuck you then, and go kick rocks, and I hate you, and
fucking
kids,
idiot
and
and
all this. Man, whoa.
so just go vote for Trump then, bitch. I can see the blue, right, the blue blood, you bleeding blue. So one time I was bleeding blue, and the funny part, within the last 24 hours that day, when someone told me I was bleeding blue, I had already been told that this black man read me, like he was writing me essays in my DMs on Instagram telling me how I just need to admit I'm going to go ahead and vote for Trump, and that, and then I'm going to the fact that I was like just putting statements out there, like even too the fact that it's like, well, Trump gave the HBCUs, millions of dollars. Well, the DNC gave them billions. I will say they didn't give them the exact billions they promised, but they did give them at least 2 billion out of the 20 billion they promised. And I want to say Trump only gave like 280 million. So it's like, but the thing is, when I correct things, I'm more about having information. I don't care what you do with it, but it's important that it be accurate. It's just important that it's valid information. Now, what you do with it afterwards, that's on you. And it doesn't mean that I'm like, go vote for Trump or go vote for Kamala. I think the thing is that we are at this point where I just have to admit that, like, even how you started off this podcast today, where we just admitted, like, there's somebody else orchestrating things behind the scene. And no matter who actually goes into office, we might see the same things continue to occur. Mm-hmm. And I'm under the guise of, like, even recently someone, there's this guy that's on my Facebook, and he really just, how are you helping? The irony though. So the funny part is they be wanting to know your plan, but get this. Kamala still ain't got no motherfucking plan on her website, but you telling me I need to have a plan, but not your fucking candidate for president ain't got no plan. She don't know what she's gonna do. It's not up there, but you want to know what I suggest or what my plan is. Don't worry about my plan. Let's focus on why the fuck they ain't got one. The irony is you'd rather hold me to a higher accountability than this person. No different than when we see police shootings. It's like, well, why did the person not? Well, why the fuck did he not? He's a police trained fucking officer. Why was he scared? Why didn't he react or operate in said way? But you want this civilian to act this certain way because they should have known did this. They didn't have fucking training. They wouldn't have no formal training of when they got pulled over by the police, how they were supposed to respond. Which, being black, I guess that should be part of the black experience, an extra class. Yeah. Like, oh, you're black. Well, we got to take you to this police training class. You're definitely going to need it because you're going to need to know how to respond.
Mm-hmm. They will kill you if you don't do this, but they also might just kill you if you do it. So, just be careful,
That being said, so the guy that's constantly like, you always have this thing saying, blah, blah, blah. And what are you going to do? Do you forget what kind of country you live in? And everything he said to me really just pointed to fascism. Like, every single thing he said to me really just proved my point. Like, you can't do anything about it. They'll take you down before. So wait, let me get this right. So if I question a system, if I want to deviate or I'm suggesting we do something different, I would be murdered, or the people... That really actually do sound like fascism. Thank you very much for playing. I'm glad that you said, because I started to go back and forth, like, because here's the thing though, too, right? If you do have a plan, why would you air that on social media? Like, so we have a plan to take down the government. And I'm going to share it on my
and where are you going to meet? And wait, what's that street that y'all...
I'm going live at 6:00.
Right.
To tell you guys about how I plan to overthrow the government. Put your notepads out, share, like the post, like, come
right.
So, I mean, then it's like, well, you're not gonna share what you scared, but then sounds like they're gonna kill your ass though first.
Oh yeah, no, they're gonna kill your ass, and you scared, and you gotta tell me the plan, and I don't know if I agree with the plan or you. I just need to know, because I might need to tell somebody that your ass is about to try to do some shit that's gonna fuck my shit up. What?
Yeah. So, and then it's like, and then the funny part is, again, these are other black people. It's almost like they bought into the sauce, and it's kind of like watching this DNC, like, for them to bring up a hostage, like a family member who, I guess a family member who may have a hostage, like, that's with Hamas. Like, so there's some like 11 variables, and I feel like it's like we're not being honest. If I was not stealing land from people, if I did not give somebody else's land away, or if I wasn't trying to have a base in the Middle East, would this have happened? Do these people have a right? Like, The thing is, it's like, it's almost as if they don't have a right to live. And then for you to be this, oh, we're for the people, this is actually outright fucking racism. And you know, the irony is that I'm starting to move, like there's so much. I think the issue is like I'm starting to, like, my eyes are being open, right? So even to this thing of Black people can't be racist because they don't, I don't know. Now I'm starting to wonder, like, well, can we? Because even too, now you got this bitch who's gonna take this Black job as the president, and she's finna execute white supremacy. So in essence, if you can orchestrate, execute white supremacy, you actually can, like, whether it's your fundamental ideology, you still can actually be racist. It's no different than a slave overseer. If you're beating slaves, whether you're Black or not, you are a part of that construct. You are
as a pawn or a puppet.
As a pawn or a puppet, but
yes,
you're still there. So the fact that you're there, like we're not gonna, now it's like we can no longer be like, well, you know, I didn't do it. Nah, bitch, you're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. And you don't have to do it. And the thing is, like, and I think this also goes back to, makes you wonder too, like back when like Hitler took office and then the Nazis, like you wonder how that worked. Like, so did you just not get to be a Nazi? Could you change your mind? How does that work? Because even too, no different than when we were in Iraq and we really were there just raping their ass and taking all their fucking land, and not even their land, but their resources, their gold, their money. We killed millions actually of Iraqi people. You know, who's there to hold America accountable or to be like, here? But going back to, they're just going off on orders of their government. And it makes you wonder, is that how the shit was back then? But there's so many things now that like point to the fact that there's so many people that would have been content or moderate or done nothing, been a bystander while we just watch things just occur. These are the same people that, you know, when we talk about the civil rights movement, or even too, these are the same people that are still like, well, why we can't get together? We can't get together, goddamn it, because being Black isn't monolithic. What I need, what you need may not be the same motherfucking thing. And that might be that's a whole other conversation in itself, because it also deals with my socioeconomic background. It deals with my experience, whereas yours may be completely different. So someone in a different radius may need something way different than me. And I think we have to talk about that, because even in Africa, it's not we're all Black. No, we're not all Black. I'm part of this tribe, you part of that tribe, and I will come take your shit. I will roll up on your set. I don't care if you look like me, you're not like me because you're not like us, because I'm in this tribe. I'm an Igbo, right. You're Yoruba, right. Or whatever it is, right?
Right.
And so there's so many nuances to all this. But I say all that to say that it's very telling to watch a party that presents themselves as being, we're the lesser two evils. First of all, motherfuckers been really excited about the lesser two evils. Like, I don't know if you seen your timeline, niggas been stoked. The whites, the Blacks, they all very excited about the lesser of the other evil. Like, for you to feel like but it's like there's this weird pandemonium, and I don't know if it's Stockholm syndrome. I don't know if it's like yes, they made it to the slave master quarters, because that's weird too if you think about it. Like, you really sit there and think about it. Like, we have people that look like us, that are in positions to marginalize and oppress people that look like us, and we're very just. Get in there, and yes, like drive the slave ship, like what?
That's a very good point. And like you said, with the overseer, or even the niggas who were selling other niggas, you know, it's you have to ask the question, what's the point? You know, is there an agenda? Are they trying to do something else? Is this a smoke and mirrors type of thing? And for the party that keeps telling us, like you said, that they're for the people, of the people, do good for the, you know, for the little guy, the underdogs is what they're calling themselves right now. At least I heard it last night.
Who's underdog?
It seems like, the Democrats are the underdogs.
They're underdog with $500,000 suites. They're
the underdog in the White House right now.
With all these celebrities and millionaire speakers and all, but they're the fucking underdog. Like, cut the shit. Cut the shit, Bob. I seen you in your Bentley. You went down the street. You too. And here's the thing I want people to realize. You cannot live in this country and not be like, we're all kind of part of the empire. Like, even if we think we're not part of the empire, we're part of the empire. Because everything we do, from consumerism in general in America, is, if not anything, a fucking country of consumers. Whether we want to be a part of it, we we touch it. We touch it somehow. We're adjacent to it, even if it's not on purpose, if it's not deliberate. You cannot live here and not touch it, be a part of it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I can do all these fine things, but if I'm on my jet, my green footprint, like literally, it's like one of those things, like we're all fucking accomplices indirectly. You know what I mean? It's like, well, yeah, did you go buy that thing? Like, yeah, I did buy that thing. So you bought the thing. Nigga,
Well,
you bought the thing. Like, well, I bought it stolen though, so I'm really against it. like, see, I'm taking the system now. I bought it off the street. So in my mind, that's how we destroy capitalism, is me purchasing your stolen merchandise, because now that company had to take a loss.
Yeah,
But it's like, but it's true. It's like, damn, like no matter what you do. So like the idea that these celebrities are getting on here. I think it was like somebody, whatever she said, that one actress, whatever she said about Nancy Pelosi, and mind you, she's an Indian woman, South Asian.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Barack Obama, it's like people were so nostalgic, like, hey, look at the black love or whatever. And just sitting over here like, Obama, a war criminal. And don't get it twisted. I worked for the DNC in 2011. Like I was out like registering people to vote. I was advocating for them. And even too, I want you to tell you guys something. I have this notebook, and there's a notebook that, you know, this is how you talk to black voters versus white voters. Like they literally had like there's an actual book.
There you go.
Tell you like how you got to say this shit to them because you're going to offend. But low key, like we do be, fuck you mean? Who the fuck is we? Like we do be offended. So it's like, okay, so when I talk to the white voter, I got to say like this and that. And I was like literally organizing voter drives and voter registrations. And I'm in these communities, but I'm going to tell you what turned me off even then was that we weren't really allowed to listen or talk about any issues. Like that's what they draw. Like, now you're supposed to get them motherfuckers to vote, get them registered to vote.
Yeah.
You could go to their little being a community event, but do not say shit.
Benign neglect is a real thing, you guys, and this is part of the education aspect. You know, we are not trying to sway you as much as, you know, while we have these political conversations, because we are the adults in the room. It is irresponsible to allow certain conversations around you. Just like y'all would not let a child get beat to death in front of you, I don't think, you know, and maybe you would see a child getting a whooping at the store and you'd be like, damn, that's a little extreme, you know, not my business. But I mean, I've seen niggas call the cops for kids that are in the cars, you know, if it's a hot car. You know, where's the parent? Oh, the mom's in the store or whatever. So much humanitarianism coming from us that I just want people to extend that grace when they're having these conversations, because 9 times out of 10, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And then the people who do know what they're talking about, we get labeled mean because we're no nonsense about these things that people feel versus the facts. You know, we have to stop having emotional conversations when it comes to running shit, because then you'll end up with a black face in a high place and they ain't do shit for you, but bring some illegals to your doorstep. Shout out to Chicago.
I'll take care of the illegals with my tax dollars. I'm okay with it. Keep going. Who's going to house them? Who's going to feed them? Look, as my governor like deports all of them to here. Right.
Send them here, and we gonna send them somewhere else.
Like, well, no wonder you don't mind, motherfucker. You never really see them. Like, huh? Like, well, I just wave to them, like, huh? You know what's funny though is I used to live next to I used to live next to a Hispanic, a Mexican family, and their kids were like that kids, like they were my kids' age, a little older. And to be honest with you, them motherfuckers worked so much to the point. And then like their kids, I think I grew like a soft spot for them even too, because it was like they were always working, and then they couldn't help their kids with their homework because it was in English.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would help the boys with their homework to kind of like fill in that gap. But it was like, I really empathize with them, like seeing them go out to work like that all the time. And And not to say that I don't see that with other people, because I'm always like, for some reason, I'm always helping people all the time. I don't know why. And then I'll be honest, I don't like it. Like I'll be like, I'm focusing on myself right now. Like it's all about me. Then it's something, well, therefore, I'm picking such and such up. Like it's just who I am. I can't help myself. But that being said, it's like, I just had a lot of respect for them. Like it was just like for that, just the kind of the insight of them making such low wages. Then I also learned about like the underground economy and how much a lot of these, maybe even if they're illegal, how much money they actually contribute to the economy simply because they can't file taxes. They can't, there's so many variables, things that we don't really know about. I forgot what they called it, but it was like, they called it like the underground economy, and it's basically all the money.
That makes sense because they are not paying taxes or can't pay taxes. So they are stimulating the economy anytime they buy because it's free money essentially.
Or even working, that they can't like pull a income tax return due to the fact that they're not really legally here to work or anything like that. So they do bring something there. And I think it's something where it's like, depending on the region, that's the catch, like the region, right? Because a lot of like the Cubans or whoever, like a lot of the stuff that was going on in Miami or Florida, there were a lot of benefits of those illegals working there, from picking the fruit. And it sounds really cliche, but then when there was no one to do it, there was a problem. It's one of those things. So even to certain things in Texas, there's certain jobs that just aren't really the jobs that they're not Black jobs. They're actually Hispanic jobs. They do the job. If they weren't here to do the job, who's going to work for that?
If they weren't here to get paid shitty wages, who would do the job? Nobody, because nobody in the country who's supposed to be here is going to take some shitty wages.
No, they're not. Like
that's why those regulations, that's why I'm with you with most of the shit, but because these big businesses, they get to run amok. And then everybody who doesn't have any money gets blamed for it. Like, hold up, wait a minute. I didn't hire them illegals. I keep getting told I'm overqualified, so I can't go work a lesser job unless I just say that I don't have any degrees. And then I got to account for why I haven't been working for whatever amount of time that I'm saying that I need to have been working. It's a lot of nuances, like you said. So
there absolutely is. There's a lot of nuances, and that's why. But it's like, I feel like to some degree, though, as I continue to, and I'm going to say this as if I were a politician, I feel like we're using the immigrants as a scapegoat. There's so many bigger problems, you know what I mean? But because
no, it's not them, it's the people who are letting them.
Yeah, the politicians,
people harming them. Like I can't sit here and say that if America blew up their town or whatever, that they shouldn't have some reprieve. I'm just saying that we need to stop blowing up people's towns and shit.
Oh, no, absolutely. But that's not how imperialism works. And when you're running an empire, you have to put towns up. You have to give them guns. Like even too, it's like I discovered that like they were like part of Kamala's plan to stop immigration was to give some of these countries that they pass through, like giving them arms, weapons.
Right.
Like, I don't know, motherfucker. That actually sound like you making shit, like you're making their situation
making it a little bit worse.
But it's crazy. But so here's the thing too. I recently found out the plight of a migrant coming out of Africa. Them getting to Spain, and even too, once they get there, they can seek asylum. But even all the things that are done from like Morocco's standpoint to prevent them from getting over there because they get benefits. It's like there's such a fucking long game being played on the back end, and it's actually impacting the most marginalized and most like sensitive, subjugated people on a global level. And it's like, and the catch is, how lucky are we to be in this position, to be here, to be on our couches, be in my chair, be in my AC with my door open because I'm a dumbass. And just how privileged we are, despite not necessarily being privileged, but in comparison to what a lot of people are enduring on a global level, what a lot of Black people are enduring across the, again, across the globe, or even we're talking about like the DRC, which is probably one of the most rich countries in the fucking world, and the way that they're being raped and pillaged and destroyed, and our country's hand is in it. It's in it. And that's why, and I think that's why I know that you kind of have more of a Black first thing and when you say Black, you mean ADOS, American, Black American first.
Black American first.
I feel that for me, our liberation is a global fight because it's America that is also in these other, like it's like it's all tied together. We have the same enemy doing the same shit. We have the same oppressor. We have the same person marginalizing all of us.
Right.
And that's where I feel like it all ties together, whether we're talking about Palestine, DRC, Haiti, America, like it's all tied together. It's because it's the same fucking people. It's the same people.
No, it is. It is.
The Hawaiians, the Polynesians, like it's the same people. Like, and the thing is, I think that sometimes we neglect the fact that, like, even too, like it was like something where I think about, you know, even those fires that I do believe were deliberate in Maui. I do believe that they were deliberate, but how we sometimes see these beautiful places that are really just stolen land with like indigenous people just trying to survive. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's so beautiful. We're going to go to Bali. We're going to Tahiti. And it's like, these people are there just like fucked. Like, and we're just like, it's so pretty here. Like a lot of the most beautiful places, the people are struggling. We like, and they have big fences up. Or even one time I was like in Tulum, and it was like I stayed in a penthouse, and like in that penthouse, there's like you like so during it, like in general, when you drive, you just see like this really big fence or whatever. As soon as you get into your as soon as you like I said, I'm on the penthouse, you see over it's like all of these 10 houses and chickens and this, and you're basically seeing like all these people just living in substandards. And mind you, these penthouses in Tulum are probably owned by like foreign people that bought property there. And even too, our presence, like a lot of the tourist presence or even Americans moving to Mexico has actually drove up the cost of living for them.
Oh yeah, no, the indigenous people in all these beautiful places are always getting the shit end of the stick for sure. And then the tourist spots are all, you know, destination places. But I just feel like that about here. There's so many beautiful places here. And then the indigenous people of the land are getting the shit end of the stick. But I do agree with you. Like, just so that nobody's confused about.
She's like, I'm Black first. I do care what the other people like.
Well, no, to me, it's all relative. You got to be Black first where you are. Because like, if I can't go to Ghana or Brazil and then put my interest before the Brazilians or the Ghanaians, then you can't come over here and do the same shit.
You can go to Ghana.
No, I know. You can go to Ghana.
That's the problem, because we have the resources. You know, we can actually. Whereas someone else, like that's the thing. Going back to how we talk about legal migration, legal immigration. Well, I can barely make it where I'm at. I damn sure can't afford a Jewish lawyer and to pay.
You actually
in here.
You giving us our next topic? I'm writing it down now. You guys, we're not normally live on Thursdays, so we appreciate you rocking with us for this
out too. Like we're figuring this out.
We're working it out.
Works with time frame and all the things. So we appreciate y'all bearing with us
and participating, because you know these are uncomfortable conversations. So you know y'all are troopers, whether you agree or disagree. If you've been rocking with us for the last hour and a half, that's pretty big. And then maybe you know jump down some rabbit holes. Make sure before you do it, I'm gonna tell you, like my little brother told me, you gotta love yourself first. You jump down these rabbit holes and you start thinking, questioning, second guessing a whole bunch of shit about, oh damn, did I do that? Yeah, you probably did, but then you just need to have a little accountability moment. You know, like I voted for Obama the first time. I didn't do it the second time. I learned from my lesson. Marie tried to get y'all niggas to vote for Obama the second time, but she didn't.
I did vote for that nigga in the second time, but it was like, but I had a new. I thought of it different, because even too, let me tell y'all something. Just for access and exposure, there were people on the Obama campaign that were actually Republicans. Like, but they had the opportunity to get an internship, and they, you know, that was going to give them that. So really just that's what again made you really be like, so all you motherfuckers is the same?
Facts.
Or the fact that I can't really say anything or talk about anything or do anything.
Right. Oh yeah, no, don't actually disagree with evidence, because then it's then it's fuck you.
Which that actually I think also is why they're open for there's a lot of corruption and stuff, is that like they're not paid shit. Like, think about it, a lot of people ain't paid nothing. Like, even when I found out like what a DA makes or what these other, like, they ain't paid shit.
Right.
You absolutely do need to be in somebody's pocket or somebody in your pocket or something like that. There's not enough motherfucker. I don't even have a degree and I'm making more than, like, what?
That part.
Hell no. Like, the funny part is, I was thinking about getting maybe my Juris Doctorate, and then I was like finding out what these lawyers was really making, like the average income. Like, oh, y'all not making shit.
No.
Like,
public-private servants are, you want to make money as a lawyer, you gotta go defend the barbells of the world. That's where the money is.
You have to do the things. You have to work with companies to look for ways to undermine laws or whatever, what I'm saying, like to exploit. Like, so it's kind of like, well, and you think I'm going to spend $200,000 to get a degree to make less because I'm actually a decent person? No, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do something else. I decided that's not gonna be the thing because I'm like, they reminded me of when I wanted to be a teacher and I found out the teacher made less than me, and I'm like, and I think I was like 23 at the time, and I was just like a tech support worker for T-Mobile, and she's like, yeah, you're like, I closed like 43,000 this year. You mean you? I was like 23, and she's like, well, I made 40,000 this year. I'm like, to teach these badass kids? Like, I don't even want to be with my kid 8 hours. No offense, y'all. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not. Like, first of all, kids is for two parents. That's why they cut me, take two people to make it. So ain't no motherfucking way I'm supposed to be with this kid all day long. Like, I'm not set up for that. That being said, like 25 of them. Oh no. Like, so yeah, I'm not going to go to school to get a degree to make less than what I already make and spend more on the degree than I bring in income. That just doesn't, but that's the American way too. And that's like another fraudulent system in place. Like, there's so many things. Like, it's like, this is just, all this shit is a lie. All of it. Like, everything.
It is. Throw it all away. You cannot fix a system that's working the way that it's supposed to as much as you can just let it fail, and then stop worrying about being accountable to people that you're not. I sleep comfortably at night knowing that I'm not going to have to answer for Kamala doing some fuck shit or for Trump doing some fuck shit. Like, you need to go talk to the people who voted for them and then figure out the reasons, because of course there's reasons, right? But before we get into a whole nother topic,
we hear all
guys.
I'm sorry, like, we did not mean to.
No, I think it's good because I miss being live on Monday, but this conversation, like we've said a few times when we started this little political ranting that we're doing, it's necessary, at least for the time being. Most conversations that I'm hearing, it's just a bunch of name calling, and I can't get behind the name calling without telling me about some policies. That's really every time you're talking about the president, y'all should be talking about policies. And if it's not policies, then you got to know that it's a emotion-fueled propagandist type of bait. And then protect your sanity. Love yourself, niggas. And if you're not niggas, well, no, I already said niggas is a household word now. Y'all know who I'm talking to.
It is a household word. Like, some have, it was like, even at work, it was like my colleague, because it's me and this other black woman, it's just us. Really, our boss black too, but we be giving him the fucking blues. And also, he's our boss now. So even recently, it was like, can't tell him shit. He ain't our colleague. He our boss now.
Yep.
I wrote the damn thing. But we like, yeah, them niggas, first of all, they were Asian. But we was like, yeah, them niggas over such and such, like, oh, I said that in the meeting. Okay, well, most of our black anyways. The only one person, like, Tim, you need to ask yourself if you have a black job. We have one white guy. And we're like, do you have a black job? Because if we're all black and you're white, this is really a black job. We're doing you, actually, you're taking away from us.
Took a job, Tim.
Yeah, like, you just had to take, and the sad part for Tim, like, this is one of the best jobs I've ever had and well paid. I'm like, Tim,
like, damn, I didn't do shit.
I'm kind of concerned about Tim, because Tim, like, don't nobody like him at work. He asks shit, people ignore. We're like, how is your white privilege not working for you? Like, they never treat me like that. Like, damn, Tim, like, you're not doing something right. Like, I don't know, in your whiteness.
Your white ain't whiting for you.
It do not be whiting for him. Like, sometimes I have to go advocate for Tim. Well, Tim asked him and he completely ignored him. Whenever I ask Al a question, he gets on a call with me, whatever. He just left his ass on red and kept it moving. Like, Tim, what do you be doing? They
Oh,
always say it's maybe because we're women. I don't know. Like,
maybe.
I don't know. But poor Tim. Tim be getting the ass into the like, and he's in IT, so you're white and in IT, and they just be doing you like that. Damn,
Tim. The math ain't mathing for people, not just us, right?
Like, I think you took a black job, Tim. I don't understand.
Right. No, that's real. Look, thank y'all for tonight. And we will post our schedule, not schedule, but you'll see. It will be on Thursday. It might be a little bit earlier than what we went tonight. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But until next time, y'all have a good night.
Bye.